What's up, guys? I wanted a little more of a relaxed setting. I usually sit at my table, but I'm on the couch, and I didn't really plan anything for this episode. Obviously, I have an idea, but I wanted to just, relax with you guys as my dog takes a deep breath. I wanted to talk about slowing down when life won't. It's hard to slow down when so many things are happening to us, good and bad, and sometimes I feel like we can skip the healing process because we just want to move on to the next thing. So that was where my heart was at. I've just been going through a lot of stuff this year, a lot of good things, a lot of crazy things. Some of you know I did get engaged, and I did also start going to a new church, which has been a series on its own of learning and healing and process, and grief as well, if you can imagine. But then a little bit after that, I did lose my job. Technically, I did get it back, but there were a couple weeks where there was no job security. I was looking up other places. I applied to other places. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what that looked like. So that was a lot. And I also lost my car. Yeah, I lost my car shortly after that. So I do end up getting my job back. I had to pass this test that I had tried to pass for at least 5 years now, and I ended up passing it a couple times actually, because I just kept taking it until, I knew I was gonna get my job back. And then my car sucks because I had just paid it off, and I was like ready to drive that thing into the ground, but little did I know it was literally already in the ground. But I got a new car, which is a huge praise report, and and that was right as summer started, and it's been like so much has happened where like I feel, and I've been so busy that I haven't healed from like the first stuff that happened in the beginning of the year. Also, we did get engaged, but we did take a couple of steps back. It's tough when you get engaged and then you get booted from your church for no reason. I don't know, there's no way to go around that one. It took a hit on our relationship, so it's like navigating that. And I'm like, wow, like it's literally only June, look at all this stuff that's happened. It's only half the year. Or my relationship, we've been through a lot, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I've only known this person 9 months, but it feels like so much longer. And I don't know, especially for me, I like to kind of skip the healing, and I'm noticing I'm still processing a lot of what's happened. I talked a little bit about that in the previous episode. Slowing down and being grateful for what you do have, like the car situation and the job situation, everything kept happening so fast. For me as a mom, and I was a single mom for a long time, I'm living in a constant state of like survival mode. And so it's like moving on to the next thing. And like with the car, I remember the day I found out I needed to buy a new car, it was literally one of my first days of summer. And summer is when I do get to drive around, I do get to do fun things, and I'm like, I don't want finding a car to take up my summer. Like, I don't want it to take my peace. I don't want it to be stressful. And so I had like a pity party for a couple of days, but then it's like, I just lock in. Like after a couple of days of being like, okay, this sucks, like what the heck, and like sitting with it, I found out I needed a new car Monday. I was test driving cars, I want to say Thursday, and I bought the car on Friday. So I will throw myself like a couple day pity party. Like sometimes in life too, it's hard to not live in a state of fear. I find myself literally like, especially when things are going, just like things that keep happening that are not ideal to my life and not how I would like it to go. I really do feel like things will just keep coming. I don't know if you've been in those seasons, but it was like the church, the engagement, you know, the job, the car. It was kind of just like, what's next? And I hate that feeling of just like living in fear, living in anxiety of like literally what's gonna happen next. And that's living in anxiety. That's not living with the fear of the Lord or faith in the Lord at all, not trusting God at all. That is like the opposite of what we should do. But seeing how he turned the car situation around and the job situation around, and who knows if I ever would have passed that test if I didn't even, literally I lost my job. Like I think I literally had to lose my job for me to like dial in and actually study and figure it out, which sucks, but I guess it worked in the end. And then I never ever would have bought a new car unless mine was like done. And unfortunately, I drove on it when it was overheated. And so I had a blown head gasket, and with a Japanese engine, when you drive on it overheated, it's just kind of like toasted, like, so yeah, I even did drive it with a blown head gasket for like a week and a half. It was not great. But, being in your own rhythm and like just processing everything. I'm always the person that wants to move on to the next thing, and I do feel like God is trying to teach me to slow down, not just because it's summer, but I'm just finally realizing that we want so many things, but most of the time we're asking for it, we want it, we're praying for it. Most of the time, I would say we're not even prepared for it. Instead of like, God, prepare me for this thing, like prepare me for marriage, prepare me how to have a baby, prepare me to take a higher step in my career. Instead of like asking for the preparation, we just like want it. Like we want to get there without the hard work. Sometimes unfortunate things happen for better things to happen. When you endure suffering, I think it just makes room for better things. When there's pruning, I think you can have more room to accept those blessings. For me, I did consolidate my credit debt a couple years ago. Things kept piling up. I had lawyer fees. My dog almost died and needed surgery. I had a couple of things and I didn't have the money, and it was a tough decision. And I don't know if it was the right decision to this day. But if I had never had that wake-up call of consolidating my debt, I think I just would have leaned on credit cards for everything. And like when you consolidate your debt, you're advised to like not use your credit cards and not apply for more. And that terrified me. I remember like, because I was leaning on them, like relying. Credit cards was just not the sustenance I needed to rely on. It was not the provision, and it was always God. And that was a big step for me. It's like, if I have a bill or I have something to pay off and I don't have the money, credit card was just such an easy fix. Like, okay, I have it, whatever. And some of you must know just like what a dangerous trail that can be, relying on credit cards. Just trying to enjoy life. And sometimes we can make it so serious. I'm trying to heal from all this church stuff, and you're grieving, like it can feel so serious, it can feel like so much and so heavy. I don't want to deny that. But at the end of the day, it's like I am at a new church. Is it going to take some time to build community and friends like I had at the other one and start serving? And that's one thing I love is, I'm not serving at my church right now. They literally don't let you for 6 months, and I think that's the most healthy thing, and every church should do that because you're usually coming from another church or you're new, and you need time to heal with stuff like that. So I'm really trying to lean in and how I can serve the Lord on my own, obviously, with this podcast. And I started playing guitar and just singing more and sharing my story and sharing my life with you guys, sharing the word. And it's been a fight, obviously, to be consistent with this podcast. It takes time and it takes energy, and I'll find every excuse in the book. But I really want to start praying and utilizing the platform God has given me, even though it's not a stage or I'm not, part of a serving community at my church yet. I just want to utilize the gifts that I have in my own way. I wanted to read a little bit of James. This is the Message translation. It's titled Faith Under Pressure. Consider a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into the open and show its true colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so you become mature and well-developed, not deficient in any way. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help and won't be condescended to when you ask for it. Ask boldly, believingly, and without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the Master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. I'm sure most of you have heard that chapter or scripture before. A lot of us don't like to settle. We don't like to sit. We're in this culture where it's go, go, go. And I'll admit that I struggle with true rest sometimes. It's summer for me. I don't have much to do, but the little things I have to do, I make it such a big deal. Oh, I have to do this and this and this. And God has just been teaching me to literally put the to-do lists away and sit at his feet. I've been so convicted of just being a Martha when I should be a Mary. And if you don't know that scripture, I can read it in a second. But just focusing on the wrong things. And when this is a time and an opportunity and a gift that I have to truly just soak in what the Lord has for me and what he's trying to speak to me, and things like that. Actually, yeah, that is, I think, that was the reason for this podcast. Now that I think about it, it's just something he's been showing me consistently this summer. I'm very type A. I like a full schedule. I like to know what I'm doing, and summer is not that for me. I have a few things going on. But because we're in a culture of go, 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 I literally get anxiety when I don't have a plan on my plate, when my calendar is empty, and it's I don't know what to do with myself. And even on the days that I won't have anything to do, I'll find something to do. I will deep organize my house. I will get rid of clothes. I will deep clean. I'll get out my steam cleaner. And it's just sometimes we miss the mark and we just should be spending so much time with him, thinking about using this platform more and using my voice more. And one thing that does scare me is social media. I think it's a great tool. I think it can be used for good things. Just a lot of the things that I see, it is kind of your perfect portrayal of their life, and you're not seeing any of the messiness. And when I notice, I was talking about this with my friend the other day, when I notice myself kind of getting upset when I'm just like looking at the picture perfect couple or their house and their babies and their jobs and their things. It's like when I'm scrolling and I just notice, like I find myself feeling something else than I was feeling before I opened the app. It's like I think I delete Instagram every couple of days because it's not healthy. I think sometimes, depending on your algorithm and things like that, and maybe I have it all twisted. I could have everything twisted because I don't know what I'm doing. Just figure it out day by day. But what was I gonna say? I think social media can be used for good things. I think that would be part of my platform, is sharing the knit and the grit and how it's not so easy, it's not so perfect, and how I can be married and have met the love of my life but still have it be a crap show. I think that's also what the Lord is teaching me. I think, you know, we like life to be so ideal, and we want it to be clean, and we want it to be folded and to fit into this little pretty box with a ribbon. And it's not like that. Like, life is so messy, and I think it's about learning how to live in the mess. And I think, especially for me, I've like very high expectations, so when things don't go how I want to, it can be like pretty brutal in my head. I'm just learning that life doesn't have to be so serious, I guess, in the midst of trying to be a Mary, when I definitely have a lot of roots of being a Martha. I'm gonna read James in the NIV. And consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Social media can be a tool, obviously, since I'm going to try to use it more, and to just share my story and play guitar and obviously do this and talk about life. Just learning how to use my platform in a different way, since I'm not serving and I'm not currently leading worship. How can I do that kind of like on my own? The home of Martha and Mary, Luke 10, NIV. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Hearing that in my head the first couple weeks of summer, even watching my daughter sometimes, how she'll just kind of mimic me and go have her Bible time, or she'll sing worship songs in her room with her microphone karaoke machine. I just literally, I hear it in my head and I just think it's funny. Obviously mimicking me and stuff, but she could be doing so many other things. And to even just like mimic, you know, me with her Bible. She also was at VBS this past week, and I got her a little Bible, so she's just been like pretending to read it. You are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Mary has chosen what is better. Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. When I'm overwhelmed with things to do, like the minute I get overwhelmed is I should just go pray or go sit with the Lord. And it's funny because it's like that's the opposite of what you should be doing, right? You have so many things to do, you just need to do it. But we don't. We feel like, again, going back to just the culture we live in, it's like your success is based on how much you achieve that day, like how much you can cross off your to-do list. And I've talked about this so many times, too, in my morning prayers, especially during the summer, because I will make to-do lists for the day in the summer when I have like nothing to do, because it just helps me, my type A brain and personality, feel better, that I'm like, okay, I rested, now I can be productive and things like that. But I'll pray like, Lord, if there's anything on my to-do list today that just doesn't need to be done or it doesn't need to happen, like take it off. And then if there's anything that does need to be done, feel free to like put that on my heart or my list or whatever. It was me and my daughter yesterday. I kept her home. I've been keeping her home this summer for the majority. And there are things I could have done. And I literally, this is like mind blowing for me, actually, if you know me. I could have called a couple people, I could have ran a couple errands, but I sat with myself, because last week was busy, and I feel like I kind of was rushing around most of the week with her VBS and stuff, and I sat with myself and I was like, is the world going to end if I don't run these errands today? And obviously my answer was no. Then easily next week, like there's nothing pressing, like no due dates. It was fine, and I still feel fine that I put it off. And that might sound silly to some type B people. You're like, what is this chick talking about? But that was a lot for me. It's learning to be more present. It's learning how to rest. A lot of us, when we think of rest, I feel like we think of napping or like scrolling on your phone or maybe even Netflix, and that's like idle rest. Like it's kind of just like distracting you for the moment. It's not like true rest, whereas obviously when you rest with God and you rest in the Word and you rest in prayer, like you're getting your cup refilled. Learning how to slow down in a culture that won't, when your circumstances won't, when your healing process and grieving process won't, sitting in it and going through it and not wanting the next thing, and just being present with the Lord. I want to be back soon. I think that's funny that I literally didn't have a plan for this episode. No, the Lord will like speak to me and speak through me, and I totally forgot about the Mary and Martha thing, because that's been so, when I tell you, so convicting for me this summer. It's like, yeah, the world is not gonna end if you don't empty that dishwasher right now. My friends, I plan to be back soon, sooner than you think, hopefully, but I'll catch you guys. Bye.